So, American Bad Boy, Charlie Ontiveros, how are you doing, my brother?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
I gotta ask. So I know that you're still living in Texas at the moment, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how are things going on there? I knew that they opened up Texas a while back.
I mean, I haven't gone to a store that forced me to put on a mask, so I'm pretty happy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, do you feel like basically the United States is kind of past the whole COVID thing? I mean, besides UFC?
I wouldn't say the United States. I'd say some of the states. I
Yeah.
know Texas definitely feels like it now. But I mean, you still see people wearing the mask around and stuff, but I'm over it.
I think a lot of people are. I think everyone's just kind of getting tired of it, especially Canada, where I'm from, Ontario. It's terrible here. Terrible for mixed martial artists here because they can't get a fight or they have to go outside the province to get a fight. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And,
But
it hindered a lot of my teammates as well, just like not being able to get fights and
mhm.
basically just training, but you're just on the shelf.
And that's it. I mean, like, you train, and you're not getting a fight. That's that's not too much fun, and you guys got to get paid, right?
Oh yeah. Plus, I mean, just the motivational killer too. Like, I've been training hard for like 5 months, and I ain't got a fight. Man, what am I doing this for? Yeah, it's definitely a mind bender for sure.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So before I get started, what do I call you? Charlie, Charles, what do you
Charlie,
want?
I like Charlie.
Charlie. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. So from my understanding, I just want to kind of get to know you here before I dig into your career. From my understanding, you have like your foundation is basically karate.
Taekwondo, yeah.
Okay, okay. And it's interesting. I guess I didn't really need to ask, but I did it for the fans because watching your style, you have very much that style. It's very recognizable. Um, and I guess that being said, does that style kind of give your opponents more difficult time fighting you?
I think the adversity with the stances,
Hmm.
like um, once Taekwondo kind of goes sideways, which we always say like show you skinny, is really hard, especially us bouncing around. And then once you throw in kicks, like we're able to use kicks just like punches, so it kind
Yeah.
of kind of ups the alley a little bit. But I mean, it's one of those. What comes with the territory of being known for that is you're gonna get taken down pretty much every time.
Of course, of course. And it's interesting. It looked a lot like almost like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson style, except he's doing more Kempo or Kempo. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Where I mean, he's got the crisp sidekick, which I mean that's my bread and butter. And then
Mm-hmm.
I mean, same with Karate Heidi. She's got a clean sidekick that I mean is basically another jab or a straight just coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Of
why I really like.
course.
I like kicking, so yeah.
So if you had to prefer, you would rather knock someone out with a head kick than a punch to the head.
Oh yeah,
I,
definitely.
I I don't think you're gonna have too many fans that are gonna disagree with you. Those are always nice.
It was crazy. Like I don't think I've even had. I've had one like jumping roundhouse and it like dropped the dude, but it didn't finish him. I still had to get down there and finish him, but I haven't had any like just walk off kick KOs. It's usually hands or a knee.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for that foot.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like it's interesting how sometimes how perfect you have to get on someone's button because some people just can't be stopped.
It's crazy. Some people, it's like I don't even know if they could be knocked out, but I mean everybody has a button. It's just some people it's well hidden.
Oh, 100%. Like I can't remember who it was. It might have been a girls' fight, but this fighter got kicked clean on the shin on the chin, and the person was still standing. It was unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure there's more than one, but I've seen fights where someone just gets hit with a clean shot and you just got to wonder how the hell they took it.
It's 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 one of those too. It's like if it's gonna be a hard shot that kind of pushes the head, it's not. It's probably not gonna knock them out. It's gonna hurt, but it's probably not gonna knock them out. I think most of your knockouts are like from the little quick motions
Like
to
the
the
snap
jaw,
kick for sure.
like just a quick pop with a kick, or even like most little check hooks. Those are detrimental for knockouts. Just something to knock the jaw out of line just real quick, I think. So
Yeah,
I think
and that's what I see a lot. Like that's why I love seeing the front snapping kick because that is such a quick motion, and you're not pushing the head. You're more just snapping it back. And I mean, I think Anderson
well,
Silva did the best.
yeah.
But no, enough of that. Let's focus on you here. So, I mean, you made your pro debut in 2012. So, at what point did you know you were ready for that game?
Uh, I just had enough people telling me, hey, you need to you need to go ahead and get out of the Army, step into pro, and yeah, I was still young, so I was, all right, jumped in, and man, it was fun, still fun.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And you know, during your time fighting, I mean, you've had some tough opponents. I mean, you've had to fight VMP. I mean, you had Jeff Neal. You've had a lot of these tough guys coming up there. Did that kind of enable um, your preparation towards the UFC?
Uh, Seeing those guys now where they are, and when I got that phone call, it was like it was still surreal, but I was like, you know what? These guys are human. They made it in there. Okay, I can make it in there. So it did help a little bit seeing them in there, just knowing like, okay, I'm not I'm not reaching for stars that are
Yeah.
unreachable, you know. So
Mhm.
it was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, I think every fighter, like their destination is to go UFC or similar for sure.
Yeah, so I got that
But
phone call. I didn't care what weight class, what yes, I'll take it.
you're gonna take whatever they give you.
Whatever they give me.
And just kind of moving on. So that being said, getting in, with all these tough guys. I mean, I've had other fighters talk to me about, building your record. Do you think there's an idea of building your record off tough guys versus building your record off of they call them cans, and then you get into the UFC, you have a tougher time? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, like I thought for the longest that because me and my dad we started out like he was like my manager for the longest,
Mhm.
and for the longest I thought we did it wrong because I mean we were calling out big dogs as soon as we went pro because we looked at it. If you want to get somewhere, you got to beat somebody with a big name.
Absolutely.
And then after I took a couple losses, and I'm seeing all these guys that like I'm just manhandling, and they got clean records. I'm just like, hey, Dad, did we mess up? Like, because the promoter he even asked us like, are you sure you don't want this guy? I'm like, no, it's a trash can. I don't want that. Give me somebody with a name. Like,
Mhm.
so I mean, the promoters like uh Mick Maynard, he was the promoter for Legacy at the time, and
Mhm.
awesome guy, always trying to take care of me. But me and my dad, we had big dreams, so we went for big names. So like my first loss with Todd Moore, that was that was my first big name that gave me my loss.
Of course.
It set me back for a little bit, but you know, just a learning lesson.
Of course. I think you have to fight I think everyone has to fight a veteran once in a while to either elevate their game or to essentially, they take the loss and it's a learning curve. And, like talking about like veterans, I don't know, did you watch the fights on Saturday?
Yes, with Morano and Cerrone.
Cerrone. I got to get your thoughts on that before I go any further. I know I know
I
you
mean,
fought at welterweight before. So
I
what was
love
your thoughts seeing Cowboy lose like that?
I love Cerrone. Like he's always been someone I idolize. But I mean, Morano's a training partner, so I was just like, I was going home Morano the whole time.
Yeah.
Uh, Excited to see him go out there and showcase his skill, man.
Did you have like any worry like how much energy he was exerting at the beginning that maybe if he didn't pull it off that Cerrone was going to show that experience and come through second, third round?
I don't know. Like Morano, he's got pretty much the same pace in the first round as he does in the last round.
Yeah.
It's one of those whenever we're sparring, I want Morano as my first 3 rounds. Don't throw him in there on my last 4 or nothing. I don't anything past 3. I don't want no part of Morano because he's getting riled up now, and I'm already like dwindling down. I'm trying to chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't worried about his gas tank. I was just worried about the experience that Cerrone had, really.
Hmm. Yeah, it sucks to see Cerrone go down the way he did. I mean, he's always going to be a legend in the sport, and I think everyone, including myself, always will look up to and it's unfortunate the way it's happened, but I mean, he's fought tough guys. Like he's not fought anybody but tough guys.
My cousin Morgan, he was on ESPN.
Hey, what's going on,
Appreciate
man?
beautiful knockout knee. Uh, but it's I don't know, it's a crazy sport. Uh, Sorry, distracted me, man.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'll just kind of move on here. So like I know you've probably been asked this so many times in interviews. It's probably the big subject that gets brought up. So looking at your fight with Kevin Holland, I understand the injury that you got in your neck was like a muscle tear. What was it?
Yeah, it was a muscle tear in the right side of the neck to where
Mhm.
it wasn't anything detrimental, but it did put me off training for about a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And I mean, during that time when that happened, what was your thought process going? Were you scared? Were you just more like, fuck,
yeah,
like,
I was like, oh shit, because like the first day, like I played football, so I know what a stinger is, and
mm-hmm.
that was my first initial thought. Oh, it's a stinger, and then like my whole body started burning, and like just that cold chill came. I was like, oh no, get off me, my neck, my neck. And then Kevin Holland, like cool dude, he's like, what? I was like, my neck, get off me. Oh, and then boom, he's over there calling the ref over here to me. So the ref, he calmed me down pretty quick. He's like, okay, breathe, breathe, breathe. He's like, can you feel your hands? I was like, yeah. I was like, can you move them? Started moving. I was like, yeah, I can move them. So I started smiling a little bit, and then it got me moving my feet. So I was like, okay, maybe nothing's broke. I moved my toes, my fingers. It hurt getting onto the little gurney they slid me onto, but
Yeah,
after that, they took pretty good care of me.
that's good. And how long did it take for that? Because I mean, that happened back in the end of October. So how long did that take for you to fully recover?
I was seeing a chiropractor for a while, and even before then, and he told me afterwards, my neck hasn't been better. Like it's been like he said you should get slammed more often because like for the longest he couldn't get these couple pops in my neck, and then after that I went to him like 2 weeks after the injury, and I guess I was still kind of loose from all that, and he popped me right up. But it took about month and a half before I really started getting back into training.
Hmm. And like having a injury like that and how scary it can be. Is it? a big reminder for people that want to get into MMA that these things can happen?
Oh yeah, man. It's one of those. I mean, me and my wife already talked about it. Uh, she's she's still on board with me going on.
Hmm.
I mean, it was a scary moment. I thought my fight career was over. I thought wasn't ever gonna be able to throw a football with my boys or nothing. So it was a scary moment. Uh, but it was one of those we kind of already worked through that 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever I was fighting and one of my kicks delivered a deadly shot to an opponent and he died in the cage.
Oh
And,
shit.
they brought him back with the defibrillators, but I took a 2 year hiatus after that
Hmm.
before I came back. And so after the neck injury, me and my wife, we were already kind of prepared. Like, we know the dangers of this sport.
Hmm. But she still fully supports
Um,
you still
she'll be
supports or
she'll be fighting June 5th. So
oh
yeah,
okay.
yeah, she's totally on board.
Okay, who's your wife again?
She's Whitney Ontiveros. She's still amateur right now.
Oh, okay, so she's working her way up. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough, fair enough. Are you kind of help coaching her or what's going
yeah.
on
I've
there?
been a part of her camp for like she's been training for 6 years now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be coaching her. I won't I won't be enjoying it on the sideline, but it's I definitely get a taste of what she goes through now.
For sure, for sure. um and just kind of going back to the Kevin excuse me, the Kevin Holland fight. You got some really good shots in him, man. I mean, I think that, standing up, I mean, he had a couple of takedowns on you, but that being said, you had some really good shots on him. So that being said, how good is Kevin Holland really?
I expected him to be faster.
Hmm.
Uh, I think me coming up to 85 and him, actually starting to be able to relax at 85. I think he might be getting used to a little slower competition. I don't know. I know whenever I was seeing him at 170, back, whenever I thought I was gonna have to fight him then at a smaller
Right.
promotion, he was a lot faster. So I expected speed, but I think if it would have stayed standing, the speed would have shown more.
For sure, for sure. And that being said, I mean, like, because I've seen that you fought at welterweight and stuff. So obviously you got the call to go up to middleweight. How do you feel at middleweight? Would you still go back down to welterweight? How do you feel?
Uh, Actually, I've been struggling to actually even stay at the welterweight just because,
Really?
like, once I became a dad, eating habits changed and
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, I struggled keeping weight on to fight at 170 to where we just me and my managers just let UFC know that we're making the change to lightweight.
Oh, okay.
I had to gain 10 pounds to make 181 so the Nevada would let me fight. So
Hmm.
I drank 2.5 gallons of water and had to hold my pee for about an hour and a half.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Um, it was terrible. Like whenever I walked in the cage to fight Kevin Holland, I was 172.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I
So
mean, you certainly didn't seem like you were performing at the 170 mark.
yeah, that's why a lot of people I think they're gonna trip out whenever they show like my picture at 185 fight and then my picture at 155 fight, and you're not gonna see a size difference really because I'm walking
Hmm.
around 70, 68 right now. I've already
Okay.
done the practice cut. It was pretty easy. I got my weight back on pretty quick too, so I'm ready to start taking out lightweights.
That's awesome. So lightweight's your destiny there. And you know what's interesting? You bring that up, not being able to put the weight or not being able to keep the weight on. Usually, what I hear is the people struggling to make weight and keep the weight off to make it to that big morning. But in your case, you had the trouble keeping the weight on. So it's kind of nice to hear a change of pace once in a while.
It was even kind of fun for the guys at UFC because usually, all the nutritionists, they're in there trying to help people lose weight and try to be as healthy as possible. I'm over here cheeseburgering it up, and they're giving me loads of pasta and tons of just electrolytes. And yeah, I was miserably full that
I think
whole
you, I think you need to start hanging out with Adesanya and order a pizza during the weigh-ins.
dude. He came up to me at the hotel after the fight and wanted a picture with me. I was like, only if I get a picture with you. And he was like, for sure, for sure. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, was he talking smack about the
Kevin,
guy?
he was like, man, that was a beautiful axe kick you landed. I wanted to see more. And he was a real cool guy.
That's good. Yeah, at the end of the day, like I know some people don't like is Israel Adesanya's character, but I mean the guy he comes to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it, he speaks more conf- confidence than arrogance compared
Mm-hmm.
to like McGregor. That
Of
just he
course.
just reeks of arrogance and just cockiness. But I mean, Alessandro, that's more confidence. Like he knows his potential. So
Of
I think
course.
I think with his background, he can hold on to that belt for a while.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And looking at your return, so obviously, you sound like you're ready to go. You wanna come back. In your return to lightweight, is there some names out there that you're looking at or who you hope to match up with?
Uh, Honestly, I'm not. I wasn't like a big fan of watching the fights because like the anxiety would just kick my ass to where I'd be sitting there in a cold room, but I'm sweating watching the fights. I just started watching more UFC fights here lately, and I've been watching the welterweight. So I'm just now starting to watch the lightweights, and I can't tell you who I would really want right now. I don't know.
That
Really,
lightweight division is just crazy right now. All of
it's
them.
it's yeah, all the divisions are just popping right now to where I don't think it's gonna be much difference. I might be one of the tallest lightweights now. Later, guys. Yeah,
Well,
bro.
that with you and Luis Pena for sure.
That's where it's gonna be fun.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, and it's crazy because there's so much depth, like just insane depth. Like you look at, let's just mind you, let's just forget about the top 15 and go from 15 and up to 25. I mean, any of those guys right now could get in the top 15 right now.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anybody under top five. I don't know.
Just
I'm a
folks.
terrible I'm a terrible fight fan, man. I'm terrible.
That's why
Like,
you're the one that does the fighting, not the watching.
yeah, 'cause, like me sitting there trying to watch them, like I'm just like to where I'm I it's not very enjoyable for me. Just like I love playing football. I don't like
Mhm.
watching football.
Fair
Baseball, I
enough.
like playing baseball. I don't like watching baseball.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I just wanted I just wanted your opinion on a couple matchups, and then I'll let you go here. So looking at the UFC 262 this weekend, another fight I think is out now. It was supposed to be I think Edmund and trying to think of his name, but there's Jack Hermanson, I think it was, and that fight just fell out. So looking at this card, I mean, you got Charles Oliveira and Dan Hooker, or excuse me, Michael Chandler. Jesus. I'm supposed to be the fight fan here. So looking at that matchup, who do you got there?
I actually know. I actually been paying attention to both of those, so I can give a little insight. I mean, I do like Charles Oliveria. Uh, a lot of people have already called me up. Hey, you're fighting? I'm like, no, bro. Look at the last name. That's not me. But they're like, yeah, he's even got blonde hair. It's not me, dude. But no, I like Charles Oliveira. I would like him to win. But I mean, Chandler's training is just unreal.
Yeah.
Like with that kind of training, you almost deserve to win.
Well, and I heard reports that he's coming in insane shape right now. Insane, like the best shape he's been in his whole life. And the guy, like, I think he's such a complete fighter that's what makes him so dangerous. I mean, you got Oliveira, who's also up to his ground, his stand up. I mean, this is just a matchup that anybody could win here.
Yeah, I mean, Oliveira's always been known for his good ground. I mean, his stand-up has picked up over the years.
100%. I
But,
mean, what he did to oh, what's that guy? Kevin Lee. I mean, Jesus.
but man, I just, I don't know. I don't know if Charles Oliveira's natural ability is gonna come in handy with all that hard work. That's man, I've sat and just watched a couple videos of him training. I'm like, surely he's not doing that all the time. And
Yeah.
no, yeah, that's pretty much him all the time. So yeah, no, I don't think Charles is gonna take it.
No,
I would like him to. I don't think he's going to.
Chandler's got this.
I think so.
Okay, fair enough. And just another matchup for you. Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. I don't know how much you know about that matchup, but if you do, who you got?
Well, I don't like Tony, so I mean, I don't want him to lose.
Why don't you like Tony? What you
Tony
don't
going
like about
against
him?
anybody, I don't know. I like the old Tony.
Yeah.
The new Tony, I don't know. Get off social media, Tony.
Have you ever read his tweets? Like it's like probably a good like four paragraph sentence about like half of them are just all hashtags and then none of it's making sense. You have to like
Yeah.
decrypt it and
My wife, my wife and my coach, they help me out a lot with social media because I'm not tech savvy. My job is to train and fight. So
of course.
like the other stuff, I don't really care too much for. Uh, like social media, like just gets in the way of training. Like how how you gonna sit there and be posting all this when you're supposed to be training?
Exactly.
And then when you're posting all this, can you back it up once you get into the cage? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna say something my ass can't cash, so
Exactly.
I try to keep my mouth shut.
Mm-hmm. But so you got Beneil Dariush in this fight then?
Yeah.
Or that's who you want to win?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want to win.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I guess I did lie. I have one more for you here. So looking at your career here, where do you see yourself in the next 3 years?
3 years. See my career picking up pretty quick here at lightweight. So 3 years, I could see me challenging Chandler for the belt.
Okay, I like it. I like the confidence.
Because as of right now, I don't see anybody taking it from him. So
All right, I like it. I like it, Charlie. But man, I appreciate you coming on here and taking your time to come on and talking a little bit about your career. And hopefully you get your fight soon. And when you do, let me know. I will get you back on here to
yes,
talk
sir.
about it.
All right. Thank you.